Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. If this is your first time here, then welcome. And if you're here for a second or third time, you already know how it goes. Tonight, we're going to be reviewing Love and Marriage Huntsville. Okay, so when the episode starts up, it picks up where it left off last week. You know, Martel and Miss Wanda, honey, is arguing in the parking lot like some common criminals, honey. So Martel ran up on Miss Wanda. Let me just give y'all a quick rewind. Martel ran up on Miss Wanda, honey, because apparently she said something on the live, honey. So he's upset about that. But what he really upset about is the fact that she is telling Mel that she could do better than him because she can, okay? So as the fight is ensuing, then Destiny is pushing her back and Miss Wanda is breaking loose because she's trying to go over there and talk to Mel, and then Tisha rolls up. So Miss Wanda is steady walking towards Mel's car, and so Tisha's like, where are you going? And she's like, I'm going to talk to Mel. So Tisha was like, leave her alone. You are not Mel's mother. Leave her alone. I did agree with Tisha on that. Like, don't get in the middle of this because it's just a bunch of mess, honey. And now you got Martel rolling up on you, honey. Just leave them people, married folks alone. So then Tisha followed her all the way to the car. Miss Wanda gonna say, I just want to see if she heard all the stuff that's on social media. Now, Miss Wanda, you wrong, okay? Because you don't need to go talking to her about what's on social media. Like, that part you're being messy. I understood you wanted to tell her to keep her head up because you wanted to do this whole thing where, you know, us women, we stick together when a man does us wrong. But you talking about social media, that's something totally different, honey. You could have left that out. So Mel looks at her and she says, no, I don't know about what's on social media. So then Tisha was like, exactly. So as they're walking back over to the other side, Tisha was like, Mel is not innocent. What the hell does that mean? The only reason why you telling Miss Wanda that is because you don't like, you know, Mel does not like you. You know she does not see it for you. So now you're trying to act like Mel had a part in her and Martel's marriage breaking up. Don't do that, girl. Honey, you don't know nothing. You telling Miss Wanda not to say like she knows what's going on. You don't know what's going on. So then Tisha is like, you don't even know if that stuff on the internet is true. Stop getting in between them. It's a bad look. You shouldn't even be doing this. And so, of course, you know, Miss Wanda staring straight through her because, honey, at the end of the day, she an old school Southern lady. So I'm the mama and what I say goes. So she gets her thing, gathers her ponytail, honey, and goes back inside to go back to where they're having the little graduation get together for Jalen. So when they get over there, Martel is standing over there. Well, before she gets back inside, Martel is standing over there. Destiny leaves and says she's going to check on Mel. So she goes to the car where Melody's at, and Melody's like, you know what? I just want to protect my peace and I don't want any kind of arguing, all this foolishness. I'm just not with it. So then Destiny says, girl, I wish I could leave with you, but I left my keys over there. And she was like, well, you can come on and we can come back and get your car. And Destiny hops in. Now, Destiny, this is why Kimmy don't like you. Okay, because that was disrespectful. First of all, where are you going with no keys? Who's going to bring you those keys? What is the restaurant going to hold on to your keys till you get back? This part right here didn't make any sense to me. Why would you leave your keys there and then come back for your vehicle and then don't even have the common decency to say goodbye? That doesn't make any sense. So you get in the car with Mel and then they leave. So Martel and Miss Wanda are walking back, and Marceau, being who he is, he was like, well, where is everybody? The only person that's coming back is Martel and Wanda. I mean, did she eat them? Marceau. Marceau, you are just crazy, honey. Just crazy. So as they're sitting at the table, Miss Wanda and Martel start to argue. At the end of the day, this is somebody's mama. Tisha, you were dead wrong for inviting this lady because you already know that she gets it started. Miss Wanda and Kimmy start arguing. Now, you have ruined her son's graduation gathering. So, of course, she's going to be irate at the situation, and she was trying to handle it as calm and classy as she could possibly handle it. But Miss Wanda was going in talking about, you can't tell me what to say, and you can't tell me not to talk. And she was like, oh, I'm going to tell you not to talk when you in here on my time. And she was like, well, I don't have to be on your time. And I'm like, oh, my goodness. This is getting louder and louder. But at the end of the day, Kimmy, this is that girl's mama, honey. Y'all got to respect your elders. And Miss Wanda, you are wrong for coming in here, stirring up all this mess, talking about social media stuff and stirring the pot. You could have just sat there and not said nothing to Mel at all. And Martel, you wrong because you should have never got up out your seat and ran up on a female outside talking to this lady like you don't have a mom. How would you like if somebody ran up on your mama like that? Child, that was weak, okay? The whole situation all the way around, everybody arguing. Now everybody ganging up on Miss Wanda, honey. All y'all wrong. Everybody's wrong in the situation. Tisha, you wrong for inviting her. And Miss Wanda, you wrong for running out there talking to her. And Martel, you wrong for running up on her and taking, you could have talked to her about that later, at a later date. This celebration right here was not the right time. All of y'all are wrong. Then we go over to Marceau and Kimmy, and they're meeting up. And I was wondering, is this Destiny's husband's restaurant? Because I saw it said something about chicken. And honey, you know, her and Kimmy have been arguing about the chicken comment. So I was wondering if that was his restaurant. And I think it is, because Marceau had on a hat with the same, you know, with the same restaurant's name on it. So Marceau is saying in his confessional that, you know, you can't invite people to things that they're not invited to. And people that are not invited shouldn't come to things they aren't invited to. And I mean, that's the truth. But I feel like Tisha was thinking in the realm of we're all family, because Tisha is, you know, Marceau's wife, and Marceau is Maurice's brother, and Maurice is married to Kimmy. They're all in-laws. So they just felt like it would be proper to invite Miss Wanda, but it was not, because if she wanted to extend an invitation to Miss Wanda, she definitely would have. So they sit down, they start talking about it. And so Marceau asks how she feels about how the graduation, you know, dinner went. And she said, you know, that she feels like Miss Wanda should not have been there, and that she's not coming to any more of her events. And so she said, well, he said, well, are you going to be the one to tell, you know, her that she can't come to any more of your events? And she said, no, I feel like Tisha should tell her she is no longer invited to any more of my events. Okay. Y'all can tell me down in the comments how you feel about this, but how I feel is this. If you feel like you don't want this lady at any more of your events, then I feel like that you should tell Tisha that she needs to tell, not going through Marceau. I know Marceau set this whole thing up to try to keep the peace or whatever between the ladies, but at the same time, you should have called Tisha and said, hey, I don't appreciate you inviting Miss Wanda to my son's gathering, and she ruined the entire thing. We were looking like fools out there, and I just would appreciate if your mom would not come to anything else. She is no longer invited to anything that I am throwing. Okay, so I just want to make sure that you let her know that. That would have been the proper way to do it. But instead, they all going in between each other, and it's just creating more of a mess. And that's just my opinion. So over at Destiny's store, she's planning a get out and vote event. So she has another planner there. Honey, Destiny gonna hire somebody to plant a tree in the backyard. Girl, you didn't need no planner for that. Y'all were outside in the parking lot. Okay, put a bouncy house out there, put some music on, throw out some chicken wings, honey, throw your costume on, and throw the kids up in the air. Honey, what are you planning for the outdoors? Girl, anyway. So as she's talking to the event planner, Martel rolls up. Oh my God, honey, he is a nightmare. Like, Martel, why do you always have to pull up each and every time that this girl is doing something, or anybody for that matter? Every time I turn around, you are rolling up on somebody. So she was like, well, I'm gonna talk to you later. So then she tells Martel about the event. He gets out, and you know what? The heavens have opened up, because he actually apologized about the way he acted. So he's like, you know, I reacted the wrong way, and you know, I shouldn't have done that. But he was like, you know what? It's really not any buts. I should have handled that a lot differently. So Destiny is like, yeah, you should have, because I had to hold grandma back. And I'm like, okay, Destiny, now calling the lady grandma, honey. I like me some Miss Wanda. I don't care what nobody else say, honey. I ain't Tisha. I'm not a fan of hers, but I like Miss Wanda, honey. Don't do that. So, I mean, you sitting up here talking about you had to hold grandma back. Girl, you should have been saying, as a man, you shouldn't have ran up on that woman. Okay, you're wrong for that. Not sitting up here acting like you had to push her back because she did something to him. He ran up on her. Let's not forget that. That's getting lost. And all the drama and Tisha and Kimmy and everybody, they're losing the fact that Martel ran up on her. Okay, and y'all can tell me if y'all agree down in the comments. We can agree to disagree, but Martel is in the wrong. So he was like, well, really, I feel like Mel should have checked her. Why would Mel be checking her when she's trying to exit to avoid the drama? You continue to drag the drama on. So why would she be checking her? I didn't understand that part, but okay. And Martel wants everybody to rally around him. Like, the truth of the matter is, Martel, you just want everybody to be on your team. So he's talking to Destiny, and he's like, she cheated first, and then Destiny starts saying something. He's like, well, as a man, you know, I shouldn't retaliate with that. I shouldn't retaliate against that. And she's like, no, you shouldn't retaliate. And he's like, see, that's the double standard. Y'all want to make as much money as the men, and y'all want to do this like a man, but at the same time, y'all don't want to accept the response. Boy, what are you talking about? Okay? Because you're just talking in a circle. The fact of the matter is you know that lady didn't cheat on you the way you're trying to make it seem. You're trying to make it seem like y'all were in a happy home and the babies were being born and she was coming home every night and cheating. No, that was your role. And I mean, we just got to call a spade a spade. So, I mean, you showing up every 5 minutes trying to drag this lady's name through the mud. It's not working. And you can't go toe to toe with Destiny because she coming right back at you. Every time you say something, she's coming right back. So, I mean, you should just stop talking to her because obviously she is team male. So, I mean, let that go. So then basically she told him that he needs to get it together and he needs to do better before something really bad happens. And I agree. And of course, if you don't agree with Martel, he starts sweating. He started leaning in, talking real loud, acting irate, and eventually he disappears. So he was like, you know what? I'm about to leave. But one thing I wanted to point out, when Destiny said that Mel loved him, he was like, well, don't forget that I proposed to her. So obviously I loved her too. Okay. That's usually how it works. The man proposes to the woman. Martel, you and your elf ears, honey, get out of my life. What are you even talking about? And then he starts saying, call her on the phone. She your friend. You want to be in that woman's space so bad. Like, it's just ridiculous, honey. And I'm trying to figure out, what is the mistress doing? While she watching you act a fool each and every episode over here, pining away for your wife, because that's exactly what you're doing, and trying to disguise it as getting drama started. No, you miss your wife. You wish you didn't mess up. And now you're trying anything that you can to stir up drama and cause confusion in this woman's life. But what is the mistress heifer doing, honey? Is she in labor or something? Isn't it something you could be doing? Like going down there to register at Babies R Us or something? Y'all should be doing something else. Child, this is just too much. So then we see Mel at home in her new house. And she says, you know, her energy is all about her people, honey. She just wants to spend time with her brother, her mother, her kids. She says sometimes Kimmy, honey, and the rest of them, she's paying them dust, honey. She cannot be bothered with the rest of them. So then she asked her brother to go to this Halloween party that Destiny is throwing. And of course he obliged. She was like, okay, cool. That's cool. She was like, well, I want somebody else to go with me so that they can have my back. But the crazy part about it is she invited the man to the Halloween party and she didn't even show up. I was like, honey, Mel sent her backup in and she stayed at the house, honey, and kicked her feet up. So anyway, they discussed the problems between her and Martel. And so her brother asked how the kids were adjusting to the new home. And she's like, you know, they're adjusting fine, but we had a little bit of an issue when I went to go pick those kids up from him. You know, they started asking me, you know, does Uncle Marcus like boys? Because that's what Daddy told us. And she just felt like that was disrespectful and not something that he should have shared with them. And I feel her on that. Like Martel now, honey, that's a conversation that she should have had with those kids because that is her brother. And it's not for you to go and shame him to the kids and make them feel some kind of way about this man. That is not your place. So she said she called and cussed him out, honey, gave him a good old read. And she's about ready to try to get full custody. Neither one of y'all need full custody because you didn't show up where your kids were. He half the time don't really want the kids. You said that 3 or 4 episodes ago. So just continue your joint custody and stop trying to use these kids, okay? And putting these kids in the middle. Neither one of y'all really truly want full custody from what I can see. I know that the woman usually takes care of the kids and it's the mom that they usually send the children with. And I'm all for that. But at the same time, from the outside looking in, I feel like neither one of you have the time to be a full-time parent. So just stop it already. Get some mediation and continue to share custody. Oh my goodness. Y'all are so childish. So then, you know, as they're talking, her brother was like, will Martel be there? And Mel was like, well, I'm sure, you know. And so he was like, okay, well, I'm going to try to talk to him because that's just like the best thing that I can do. And Mel was like, you know, I don't understand why he would have done that because her brother and his husband, Troy, have been nothing but good to them. Ever since he's come back into her life, they have been, you know, accepting of her. They took her in when she had to escape from Martel and all his drama down in Huntsville. So she doesn't understand why he would try to do that. I do. Martel is a crazy person. He's a sociopath. He needs some help, honey. That's why he's doing it. So now we over here at Tisha, with Tisha and Marceau. And they start talking about Scott Manor. And of course, I don't know what kind of house this is, honey. These are the smallest rooms that I've ever seen. So she's in there folding some clothes. And she's telling him, you know, this house is too small. We need to hurry up and move to Scott Manor. And he's like, no, it doesn't work like that. We're still going to be here for a few more years. So Tisha was like, well, we need to look at the plans again so we can build a mother-in-law suite. Oh, my goodness. Tisha, nobody wants to be around Miss Wanda, honey. That's too much drama. Haven't you seen the drama that comes along with your mama? Like when they say save the drama for your mama, honey, they were talking about Miss Wanda. If save the drama for your mama was a person, it would be Miss Wanda. Leave your mama where she is. So then Marceau, with his crazy behind, he gonna say, well, we could build her a little cottage and she could drop breadcrumbs and collect kids like on Hansel and Gretel. I was like, this boy, oh my goodness. Honey, he says everything and anything. And Tisha didn't even catch on to it. She was not in the mood for his jokes. She was like, okay, Marceau, whatever. But y'all know what? I discovered what's wrong with Tisha. She got a lazy tongue. She don't lift her tongue up. And while she too busy worrying about the mommy podcast and the pandemic time and all of that other stuff, she needs to go back to a speech pathologist, honey, and figure out, she might need to get that thing clipped underneath her tongue like they do the toddlers when they're first born and they figure out they're tongue tied. Her tongue is lazy. Because I've been trying to, I'm like, she has the vocabulary and the vernacular to put a word together. So I'm just trying to figure out, why can't we understand her? And it's because her tongue is lazy. So now we've solved the problem, honey. So, I mean, I solved it for us, honey. Just call me Carmen Sandiego. All right. So Tisha and Marceau are talking. And so Marceau was like, you know, talking to her about the whole situation that happened at the graduation. And she said, he tells her that he had a sit down lunch with Kimmy. So Tisha was like, well, why would you sit down with Kimmy? Kimmy should have called me and, you know, talk to me about the situation. So Marceau let her know that Kimmy said that Miss Wanda would be sanctioned from further events, as Tisha likes to call them. So then Tisha was like, well, I'm just going to sanction her from my events. If she can't come to nothing else I'm having. Like, no, that's not the same thing. Your mom was an extra invited guest, honey. If you're throwing something, of course your mom will be invited. And if you invite Kimmy, that's something different. But if you go to Kimmy's house and you just bring your mom out of the blue, knowing her and Kimmy are not on the same page, that's not the same thing. So she's like, I'm done with her. I'm done with her. I'm not going to have anything else to do with Kimmy. So then Marceau was like, dang, I mean, you are so quick to throw away a friendship. And so he tries to explain to her that, you know, you shouldn't go off your emotions. If you're emotional like you are, then maybe now is the time to just take a step back. And if you can give Mel chance after chance, then I know you can give Kimmy another chance. And Marceau, you were being so loving to her in this scene, honey. That's all she really needs. It's somebody to just talk to her, because she really feels like it's her against the world. Every episode, she's like, you're not on my side, and you're not on my side, and why you're not on my side? And it's all stemming from the fact that Mel will not be her friend. I feel like if Melody was her friend, all this will go away. She wouldn't care about sides. Everything will be perfectly fine. But Mel won't be her friend, so we're going to have to hear about this forever, and that lazy tongue going to get to talking. Please, Mel, if you're out there listening, honey, please see if you can find it in your heart to at least be cordial with Tisha, because I cannot take no more. Oh, my goodness. So after Marceau gave her his loving words, then he goes, did I do pretty good with that one? And she's like, yeah. He's like, good enough for sex? Marceau, thank you for the comedic relief, honey. We need it. Because, I mean, oh, my goodness, honey. You need a drink after having to deal with Tisha, honey. She is just not comprehending. I mean, it's almost crazy. Now we're over at Tisha and her podcast, okay? Child, because Tisha had told Marceau that she was going to have a talk with Kimmy at this podcast, which I think is the total wrong time to do it, but okay. Y'all should have did this separate of the Mommy Business podcast. Ugh, child. So Tisha gets to the podcast and she's looking forward to talking to Kimmy at the end. Destiny gets there And, you know, they're talking. And so then Tisha was like, well, you know, I haven't seen you since the event and Jalen's graduation celebration. And so Destiny goes, so she's like, yeah. And then when everything went left, I mean, I should have been out there. And Destiny was like, well, you came out there, but it was a little bit too late. I mean, because the party had already basically started by the time you got there. And I was trying to figure out where exactly was Tisha walking from. It took her 10 miles to get to Miss Wanda. Like, where is this restaurant located from the parking lot? I was like, oh my God, what are y'all in a strip mall? What is taking so long? So then Kimmy finally arrives, but she arrives late. And, you know, Tisha being petty, honey, she made sure she brought it to her attention that she was late. I didn't find anything wrong with that because I feel like Kimmy would have said something condescending had Tisha been late. So Kimmy was like, well, that's not the reception I was expecting. Girl, just get in and sit down and shut up. You getting on my nerves. Tisha getting on my nerves. Just get in here, sit down, do the Mommy and Me podcast or whatever it's called. And let's get this show on the road. So Tisha introduces the ladies and then she starts to ask Destiny what it was like having her baby during the pandemic. Destiny was telling her, you know, that it was really tough and that, you know, she had preeclampsia. So her baby ended up coming 3 weeks early. But by the grace of God, he's here now and he's healthy. So they're talking to Kimmy about her actually being on the front line because, of course, she's a nurse. They thank her for her service. And, you know, they're talking about the pandemic. And so Kimmy's like, you know, this was supposed to be a year of celebration. Everybody was supposed to be coming together because both of my men were graduating. But that's not how things panned out. So Destiny, honey, gets in there and stirs the pot. This is why Kimmy can't stand you right now. So then she's like, oh, speaking of graduation, girl, okay. So then Kimmy was in her confessional like everything was going so fine until Destiny had to say something and bring up this graduation. Thanks, Dest. I'm like, not Dest, honey. Her name is short enough. You'd have gave her. Kimmy gave her a whole another name. Let me tell you something. I'm very hard on Kimmy. I don't trust that at all. But Kimmy, this episode, you had the patience of Job, honey, because it's no way that I could have sat there and listened to Tisha and her lazy vernacular go back and forth and back with me as Destiny sat in the middle like she was at a ping pong tournament, turning her head back and forth. I couldn't have went through that. So then, since she stirred it up, then let's talk about the mess. So then Tisha starts saying, I was talking to Marcel and I was taken away back, as you would say in your words. I was taken away back. Tisha, idiot, what you mean was you were taken aback. Oh my goodness. Why won't people correct these people? Honey, it couldn't have been me. Because I can't control myself. When I hear a stupid word mispronounced, like y'all don't even understand. Sometimes when I'm doing these reviews and I listen to myself back, if I don't enunciate a word correctly, I want to scrap the whole review. But then I got to go through 3 or 4 more hours editing and doing this and doing that. So I just say, forget it, honey. Hopefully they can understand. But at the same dang on time, if I'm sitting right in front of you and you talking about I was taken away back, that's dumb. It's I was taken aback. Oh my God. So then she was like, I was taken away back, but Marcel let me know that my mom was sanctioned from all future events. Because of course, to Tisha, events is not 1 syllable, it's 2. Okay. So she's like, and I feel some kind of way about that. So Kimmy was like, is this part of the podcast? Tisha proceeds on, honey, because she ain't going to let it go, honey. She's like a child, I don't even know, a dog with a bone, honey. She will not let it go. So then Tisha said, she's not taking any responsibility for what happened. You not taking no responsibility. This would have never happened if you wouldn't have invited Miss Wanda. Girl, what? So then Kimmy was like, you know what? I should be able to decide what she comes to. And that's just the bottom line. I mean, I don't feel like she should just be coming to anything because she's attached to you. So then Tisha starts going on saying that the greeting was negative and the way she greeted her mom was wrong. And that's what got it started. And that her and her mom had already squashed it. So she feels like Kimmy is holding on to something. And Kimmy is like, no, I'm not holding on to anything. Wanda did not belong there. So whatever she got after she showed up, that was on her. And I agree with that because Miss Wanda wasn't invited. But at the same time, Kimmy, you got to kind of have some respect for the woman's mother. Like, you speak to her like she's someone's mother. Like, y'all just forget Miss Wanda, somebody mama, honey. Martel about to jump on her. You finna get ready to cuss her out. let's not forget Martel is the villain, honey. I don't know who's the real villain and who's not, because the way they got me so confused and the way Tisha has taken this around and about, I'm all the way confused, okay? Destiny's sitting there talking about, well, this is awkward. I wish me and my wig could just slide out of here. Why? When you started it, honey, you should have just sat there with your sparkly top on and talked about the pandemic time at the mommy podcast. That's what you should have did. But no, you didn't do that. You stirred it up. And, you know, so now you got to sit here and listen to it, child. Nobody want to hear that. So Tisha was under the impression that her mom and Miss Wanda were, her mom and Kimmy were fine. But Kimmy lets her know, when we had that conversation, I walked away from your mom. But looking at the footage, it looked like y'all was walking side by side, honey, arguing. So I don't know who walked away from whom. I don't know if my eyes playing tricks on me. Y'all tell me down in the comments below, child. Anyway, let's get to this Halloween party out in the parking lot. So we get there. Martel shows up, honey, dressed in his Pharaoh costume. And one of his kids go, Daddy, I'm cold. Oh, you cold, baby? Get under my cape. Under your cape? See, this is why they need their mama around, because mamas have everything in the car. We have a spare jacket. We have food. We got snacks. We got underwear. We got baby bottles, even though they're not a baby. We got Capri Suns, Cheetos. We got Cheerios, honey. We got a change of clothes, a washcloth. Honey, even got a spare bed in the back. Daddies don't do all that. So, Martel, while you trying to get full custody, honey, we are in the middle of October. Of course it's cold, or at least a little chilly. Why you didn't bring these kids a jacket? So stupid, honey. So anyway, so Destiny comes over and thanks them for showing up. And then Martel asks if he looks good in his costume. But Destiny, where's your husband? Honey, where is he? Because quite frankly, while you trying to fix Mel and Martel, where's LaDerrick and his chicken wings? Honey, where is he? Because I've been wondering this throughout the episodes. I'm like, everybody's husband is present except Destiny's. And it's just strange. It's really strange. So Cedric is one of their friends, and he asks about a getaway for the boys when Martel doesn't have the kids. Martel says Mel is upset at him, so he might have the kids next week. He's not sure. Then Destiny says, oh my gosh, you look so nice, but it would have been nice if you would have had Cleopatra next to you. Martel goes, yeah, I know. Where is she? Honey, he looked for Mel everywhere he go. He is looking for Mel in the daytime with a flashlight, honey. It's over. Or is it over? I don't know. Y'all playing some kind of game. I can't tell, because I was on that Instagram and I heard you talking in the background, and Mel was in the video as well. So what is going on? Are they sister wives now, or did you figure it all out? Is this one of those polyamorous relationships? What are y'all doing, honey? Kimmy comes in dressed inappropriately, I feel, in front of these people's husbands, honey, with her midriff showing and her sheer cop costume. But that's a story for another day. Then Mel's brother comes in dressed like another pharaoh. I'm like, oh, it's the battle of the pharaohs, honey. Sub-Zero versus Scorpion, honey. Mortal Kombat. Here we go. The brother comes in. Immediately, he goes over to start talking to Martel. He's like, I haven't seen you since you just, dismissed your wife. So Martel is like, Melody wants to be on TV. She wants to be a star. Both of you do. I feel like both of you want to be a star, honey. It's not just Mel by herself. It's both of y'all. So he's like, she wants to be a star, so it's nothing I can do about that. So then the brother tells him, he's like, you see, I have my kids, so I must be taking care of my kids. And the brother said, oh, so that makes you father of the year. Now, brother, you was wrong right here. Okay, because no matter what's going on, he does take care of his kids. Okay, so then the brother says, so I guess you father of the year now. And then he says, you know what the kids ask me when they were at my house? Can you be my daddy? Because we don't want to go home. Child, why you say that to Martel? Martel started losing his mind, told him he's going to beat his ass, and anything else that he had to say. Clearly, I couldn't understand it, honey, because Martel was going off, okay? He was going ham. But the brother wasn't backing down. The brother was like, you ain't gonna beat nothing over here. And I'm like, well, which one of y'all going to swing first, honey, so we can get it started, honey, because that's good TV. But, of course, because the kids were there, Martel was like, you know what? If we had been in a different setting, this would have been a different outcome. So he got his, his little pharaoh costume, tucked his little cape between his legs, and walked on off. And that's how the episode ended. He went in there and gathered his cold kids out of that building when he should have had them some coats, and they left. Brother, you wrong, okay? Because you don't talk to a man about his kids saying that he wants another man to be their father. Like, that's not something you do. Because if the situation were reversed and Martel's sister came and said, they were asking me to be their mama. They said they don't want to go home to their own mama. It would have been on. And Mel would have started talking in that high-pitched voice, and we would have had to hear that squeal throughout the entire episode. So don't do that. That's not cool. Okay? Well, that pretty much sums up this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. As always, don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe. If I had to rate this episode, I would rate it an 8. It was pretty good. It was jam-packed, filled with drama. And honey, I almost gave it a 6 for the mere fact that I had to endure Tisha. But guys, like I said, please don't hesitate to comment, like, and subscribe. Share this with a friend. Check out my other reviews while you are here. As always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.